Hey, what's up YouTube? This is just kind of a practice run. I may review this DVD again in the future, but it's been a while since I've been on. My computer crashed. I think there was something to do with the power thing, and I've been using my dad's computer. I'm still using it. This is my dad's computer, but I thought I'd go ahead and give it a try, see if I can do a couple of reviews here and there. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a weekly thing or not, but we'll see what happens. I know there's a couple of movies or DVDs that people have asked me to review. I'm gonna try to start getting onto those. But until then, here we go. All right. The first thing I wanted to review was this is actually one of my favorite '80s films. I'm a huge rock and roll fan, and growing up, this was and I'm from New Jersey, so this film was definitely something that I really enjoyed growing up. And its sequel too. A lot of people didn't actually like the sequel, but I thought it was very, very, very well made. Both of them. The second one, when you see it, you'll get the picture. Now, this film, Eddie and the Cruisers. Okay, it stars Michael Paré as the title character, and Tom Berenger as one of the cruisers, who we actually get to know more than anyone else. And John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band perform the music. He basically lip syncs, and John Cafferty is the voice that we hear when he's singing, which is kind of funny because John Cafferty's voice sounds very similar to Michael Paré's. So it's not very hard to think that, oh, okay, that is Michael Paré. I actually didn't know that was John Cafferty until years later, after hearing a song off of the Rocky IV soundtrack. The sequel, I think, it's pretty good. I mean, yes, of course, it's not going to be as good as the original because the original was an original story. Basically, I feel like Eddie and the Cruisers is kind of Elvis. If Elvis did live and faked his death and blah blah blah, because because like Elvis, like even Tupac, after their death, new films or whatever, new music are released, so there starts to be this conspiracy that he's still alive. Eddie and the Cruisers 2 jumps onto this theory, especially since the ending of spoilers. Since the ending of the film basically says that hey, he's alive, and this is from the Totally '80s double feature edition from MGM. The reason I got this because I don't normally like to get double packaged films. I mean, I am starting to warm up to it more, but the reason I got this was because this is the only time that Eddie and the Cruisers 2 has been released. I have it on VHS, a shitty, recorded copy of it, which now I can record over or just get rid of. And this is both films are in widescreen. Alright, unfortunately there's no special features, there's no commentary, there's no interviews, no music videos, and there was, I believe, 2 music videos done for the first film, although there's no scenes from the film. It does show John Cafferty and his band performing the songs. This is one of the reasons why I usually don't get double featured discs, because they put it on different sides. With no features on this, and the films are basically about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes. They could have actually put both of these films on one disc and had a dual-later one-sided disc. So I'm not understanding why this is like this. I might get Eddie and the Cruisers 1 again, just so that way I can just turn this film side up and use this as an Eddie and the Cruisers 2 DVD and just have that as a separate thing. I'm not sure. I've done it before. I got this fairly cheap on half.com. It was about, I think, 95 cents with a $3 shipping and handling charge. And it was brand new. It was wrapped up, no marks on the disc. And, the music's excellent. What I like about the music is that it's got a very modern feel. I mean, modern for the '80s feel, but it's in the '60s. It's supposed to be '60s or '50s, '60s rock and roll, and John Cafferty does a very good job. I actually downloaded all his music because after revisiting this film, I really got interested into seeing what he's done outside the films, because he's popular for doing songs for this franchise as well as Rocky Four, and I believe he did a song for the Karate Kid. No, I'm sorry, that's Survivor. But he has done other songs for other films, and I wanted to see what he's done outside. He does have a couple of other albums, which at one point was later on released as the lost tapes of Eddie and the Cruisers, because I guess they didn't sell well, but still, it was a good thing, Ellen Barkin, I believe, also stars in this as the reporter that basically is on the lookout for the truth. Part 2, okay, I'm going to sum up the basic, because I already showed you my feelings for each film. I'm going to sum up what the film is basically about. Eddie and the Cruisers is about a journalist comes to visit a member of a band, next member of a band from the 1960s called Eddie and the Cruisers. She's looking to find out what happened on the night that the lead singer of the band had passed away, had mysteriously died, and because his body was never found, so there's this theory that he may still be alive. But they also want to get insight from the other band members. I mean, we do see other band members interviewed, but Tom Berenger is basically, which they call the Word Man. He's basically the focus of the memories of the flashbacks, and and we do see, because he's not one of the original cruisers. He basically comes in, I think, after they've already kind of established a song or two together, and he comes in, and it's basically shows how he comes into the band. Eddie's basically all for him. The other band members kind of are iffy, and then how he grows a strong bond with both Eddie and the females of the band, which is Joann, Eddie's girlfriend, and then the crumbling of the band because of disagreements with the music studio, which I'm pretty sure rock musicians or even rap artists can kind of relate when deals fall through or whatever, and like the mystery surrounding it. Part 2, basically what happens is, once again, spoiler, at the end of part 1, Eddie Wilson, portrayed by Michael Paré, is shown to be alive. He's wearing this ridiculous disguise, and he smiles because he sees that 20 years later, 30 years later, people remember him. His music's alive, and that's what he wanted. He wanted his music to be a memory to everybody, and he got that wish. So he was smiling. Now, in part 2, I'm not sure how much time's supposed to have gone by. I would probably say a few years. Maybe just a year, because in part 1 they find a lost set of tapes that was done. It was also to go along with the final album, which was never released because the record company thought it was shit. So in part 2 we go off from that. They found another tape with music by Eddie Wilson, or at least by someone who sounds like Eddie Wilson. But none of the remaining cruisers, which in this case Matthew Laurance, who returns as Sal from the first film, claims that they never did this album, so they don't think it's Eddie, or he doesn't think it's Eddie because he would have known, and blah blah blah. Meanwhile, we see that the Eddie is actually alive, going by another name, and for some reason, I mean, this is probably what causes people to diss the movie in a way. At the end of part 1, we see he's happy, he's smiling. Yes, my music's alive, people remember it. But in this film, he kicks a radio off a construction site from hearing his song. Because for some reason he's now upset that he's continuously hearing about his music, continuously hearing about how, how his death has affected the rock and roll world. My theory is that it's not the music that's pissing him off. It's just that his music's only popular because of his death. Like, he does say in the movie eventually, they like me better dead than alive, and I think that's what pisses them off in the film. But I can understand people's kind of hesitant. The music's still great. John Cafferty does come back. Michael Antunes, Tunes, or whatever his name is, who plays Wendell Newton from the first film and the second film, comes back. He's also the real sax player in the band. So it is interesting. We do get, like, I think Bo Diddley. We get a couple of good cameos in this. I mean, obviously, the first film was good enough to warrant a popularity enough to have someone like Bo Diddley come in, So, both films I think are very, very terrific, although I really wish MGM would do something with these films. I mean, it took them how many years to freaking give us Child's Play, in a decent way. I really hope that this gets some sort of special edition, at least the first film. Yes, the second film would be good too, because Mike Paré has done an interview about Eddie and the Cruisers on the Greatest American Hero Anchor Bay release. He makes a brief mention to Eddie and the Cruisers and how he got hired there during his time on the show. So I would like to see them do something, because Mike Paré is obviously okay with the films. And it would be nice to hear him and the band, John Cafferty, do some sort of commentary or something, give an interview, a documentary, the music videos. I mean, hell, come on. This is the reason John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band became famous, was because of this film. So I don't see them saying, oh, we don't want our music on that DVD if we don't get paid and blah, 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 because, this is kind of a one-time only thing. Well, not really one-time only, but because I do have quite a few double feature releases. But usually those have 2 discs, or, whatever amount of discs. But, so Eddie and the Cruisers I would give 4 out of 5. Eddie and the Cruisers 2, 3 out of 5. And that is my opinion. Later.